What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Virgin Geekdoms. I am your host, Robert Slavinsky, and this is a great weekend to be a nerd. We got so much going on in the world of comic book films, comic book genre, everything like that. So it's a lot of fun. But today I'm going to focus on the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League that came out yesterday. I have actually had a chance now to watch it 3.5 times. Whenever I do a review, I like to watch it at least twice before I do an official review. Today, I'm going to do a review. It's going to be both a non-spoiler and spoiler review. The first half of the show, or first portion of the show, will be non-spoiler with spoilers. Then after that, I'm also going to have fan interaction, viewer interaction of the show after both of my reviews are done. So stick around if you want to hear my review, and then I have no problem taking your questions, your comments. Hopefully I'll get some people on here. I've thrown out some invites to some people to maybe jump on the show to discuss the movie as well in the final half of this. So let's get into this. Again, this is non-spoilers right now. So let's get into the good. All right, because going into this movie, without a doubt, we knew this was going to be a better movie than what we got in 2017. It was impossible for it not to be better than that. So right now, I want to talk about the good, and I'm going to talk about the bad in the non-spoiler review portion here. I want to say the story was what I think was the best part of this movie in showing that it was a better movie. It's further explored. It's further explained. It is much more in depth, which leads to the characters having time to shine. And each one of them has a purpose on why they're actually in this movie to begin with. It's not just Barry Allen thrown in just for jokes, because honestly, in the 2017 version, he does absolutely nothing except for tries to push people or things out of the way, which is kind of ridiculous. He doesn't get to utilize his true purpose and abilities that he has and utilizes. Same with Cyborg. Cyborg in the 2017 version is simply there as a catalyst to attach to the mother boxes. In this one, he has a purpose. There is much more to him than just simply connected to the mother boxes. It's beautiful. I loved that part and that portion of the movie so much, because I think that was important. That is what was missing in 2017, was to have a full grasp and understanding of who these characters are, who they will and can become. And we get that in this version, which is absolutely phenomenal. Superman, I know a lot of people talk about Superman, and much like the 2017 version, this is no spoiler, he's not in this movie that much, but that was the entire point of the film. The entire point of the film was to build the League in honor and continue on with what Superman stood for. That's what this movie was about. So when Superman does come back at the end of the film, he is the most Superman that we've ever seen Superman thus far in the Snyderverse, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And there's a moment when he first shows up, and I asked a couple of my buddies who watched, I was like, hey, what was your favorite moment? And a couple of them actually said that moment there, because they felt he was finally the Superman they had been waiting for. And I think that's beautiful. The fact that a small little moment like that could impact somebody, impact people watching it, I think is an awesome thing. Visually, this movie is fantastic. It is amazing. It is beautiful. I honestly cannot believe how beautiful this movie is, because they had 8 months to do the visual effects on it, to clean them up, to polish them off. That is absolutely impressive. There's a few blemishes here and there, but overall, the CGI, the VFX, all that jazz was done perfectly. And you have to remember that even though there's a few blemishes here and there, it is the story that will drive this movie. It's not the special effects. I am a stickler for special effects. I'm somebody who gets pulled out of a movie very easily if the VFX are absolutely horrendous. That's not the case here. And not only that, you're so invested in this story. It's a 4-hour long movie, but you get so invested in this movie that the time just flies and you're like, holy crap, it's over already. Like, I want more, give me more. And you don't notice those few blemishes when it comes to the VFX. And again, there's only a few that I could pick out on my 3.5 times of viewing it. Obviously, this is going to be a movie that I watch over and over and over and over again over the next however many years, because it's going to be a topic of discussion and analyzation for quite some time. So, I as of now, I can't see that there's too many issues when it comes to the VFX. Ray Fisher shines in this movie. Now, while he shines and does a fantastic job, I do think the story line when it comes to Cyborg could have been done a little bit better, but overall, it was a damn good movie. Or a good portrayal of Cyborg. Ray Fisher is an amazing actor. I cannot wait to see, and yes, I'm saying I cannot wait to see, because I believe he will be back as Cyborg, whether it's in the Snyderverse or more, because he's that damn good at the role, and he deserves it. I mean, it's that simple. He deserves it. Music. All right. Actually, I'm going to skip that for a second. The epilogue of this film. The last 20 minutes of this movie is the epilogue. There's some things that I wish they kind of would have moved around a bit scene-wise from the epilogue. But overall, the epilogue is fantastic. Fantastic. While I've seen the movie in its entirety 3.5 times, I have gone back and rewatched that epilogue now, maybe 4 or 5 times since watching it the first time. It is so beautifully done, so riveting, and it does leave you wanting more. And it's not just that leaves you wanting more, it's everything that happens in a movie, but that right there just excites you to the possibility and what is coming. And we just need more of it. The music. Overall, the music is fantastic. I loved the music. Junkie XL did an amazing job. Look, I am a huge fan. The Crew at War Power, which was released a couple weeks ago, is up there in one of my top 3 to top 5 favorite scores or pieces of music from a film score. It is so much emotion in that piece of music, and I love that so much about it. And Junkie really nails it for the most part in this film with the music. But now, as we move on to the bad of the film, and there's a few things, and I need to critique this. I need to criticize it properly. I'm not going to sit there and say that it's all butterflies and rainbows and unicorns, because I don't want people to sit there and think, oh, you're just a Snyder fan, so you're gonna praise everything about it. No, there's definitely some things that I wish could have been better. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the last thing I just talked about, which is the music. I felt that there were some moments within the movie that the music just did not work. The music just kind of missed its place. There was an overuse of the new Wonder Woman theme. I am a huge fan of the Wonder Woman theme. Since the first time it was heard in Batman vs. Superman in 2016 till now, it is one of the most played pieces of music on my Spotify list. But the problem is, there were moments and parts of it that were just overused in this movie to the point where it kind of got annoying, at least to me. Every time I heard it, I'm just like, really again? Really again? So that was kind of an issue for me. And the fact that there's a moment in the movie where the Crew at War Power would have been amazing to use. It would have been perfect, fitting. It would have amped up the scene that much more, and it wasn't used, and that was a little disappointing to me, because I really believe that piece of music is that good that it should have been in that scene to elevate it even higher than that scene already was. Too much slow motion in this thing. When you see this movie, if you haven't yet, you're going to notice that the slow motion is just utilized far too often. I know Zack is a stickler for slow motion. He loves using slow motion, and that's fine. That's, every director has a little thing that they like to do in their films. You got J.J. Abrams with the lens flare. Zack Snyder loves the overhead shots as well as slow motion. I just felt that it was used a little too much in this movie. Personally, if I were Zack, I would have not utilized slow motion at all in this film, except for flash scenes, because it would have made it stand out more. It would have made it more impactful in those moments. But again, a lot of my issues with this film, or not a lot, there's not many, there's a couple more. It has nothing to do story-wise. The story is just that amazing. Just a couple of, a couple things that he did with the film that I just felt, didn't really need to happen or anything like that. One of my issues, this might be my biggest issue, and it was actually an issue that kind of comes back over from the 2017 version, and that is of Barry Allen. Barry Allen, to me, was not the Barry Allen that I want to see on screen. He was utilized as the comedic relief, again, not as bad as in 2017, not as obnoxiously bad as in 2017, but he is still utilized as the comic relief. He does have a few moments to shine as Barry Allen, as just Barry. There's a few moments that he shines, especially with the scenes with his father, Henry Allen, or played by Billy Crudup. There's a few moments there. There's a couple moments throughout with the league as well where he shines. He does. And I see that he could be an excellent Barry Allen. But, this movie, I don't know. I think it fell too hard on the comedic side for me, for my liking. And that's not to say that moving forward, he can't grow into that role better. He was probably the weakest characterization for me. However, he does hold one of the top 3 comic book movie moments ever in my book now. And I'll get into that in the spoiler section. So while, there's moments in this movie that I'm not a big fan of what Ezra brings to the role of Barry, he does have the one scene that just blew me away. And I'll get into that later. The black suit is part of my bad, actually, which is a little surprising because I was so excited to see the black suit. Like, hey, I wanted to see it so bad. But the problem is it's just there. He's just wearing it. And it has no reason because especially, and we've seen this in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but you see him walking down the corridor and right behind him, the colored suit is there. So why would he pick black over the colored suit? I kind of wish there was an explanation in the movie that said, oh, it's a healing suit, or, I just wanted to go black. Anything, just something to explain why he's wearing a black suit now, because it's just kind of, I think for the general audience, like my fiance and I are going to watch it either tonight or tomorrow or over both nights. I don't know if we're going to split it up, but I just have this feeling she's going to ask, like, why I saw the colored suit there. Why is he black? So we'll see. Obviously, my mom hopefully is going to watch it this weekend when my fiance watching it. More of the general audience, as they start watching, we're going to see some of the questions pop up like that, I think. That's about it for my non-spoiler review. I do see you, Justin, on here. It's not that I'm ignoring you. I am just going through my reviews first, and then I'll start getting to the comment section here. So if you're still watching, I will hit your comments up and discuss those with you. All right, so that's it, guys. My warning, if you haven't seen this movie yet, go see it. I'm about to hit my spoiler review here. So if you don't want to be spoiled, just, talk to you later. Come back and watch this. But if you have seen the movie, you want to stick around because I am going to get into spoilers right now. All right, so spoilers. So again, this movie, I love it. Where does it rank in my Snyderverse DC? I do not do a ranking system like 1 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. I don't do that. I don't believe in rating a film because I think there are too many variables that just doesn't make sense. I could think this movie is a 9 out of 10, but this movie over here is an 8 out of 10 and different reasons. And I could love this movie that's an 8 out of 10 more than this movie that's a 9 out of 10. There's just too many variables in my opinion. So I don't rate them like that. I just go off of, is it a movie I love? Is it a movie I'm going to see again? And then I rank it off of the franchise that it's in. That's how I do any kind of rating, review, ranking. So for those of you who are unaware, that's how I do it. So this movie, absolutely a movie I'm going to see constantly. I'm going to watch constantly. I know there's a lot of things that I missed the first time that I caught the second time. There's a few things that I missed the first and second time that I caught in my third time as well. And then as I'm going through now, I'm paying a little more attention again. That's why I'm only halfway through it again, because I'm taking my time. I'm actually stopping, pausing, looking at things, truly thinking about the moment that just happened, and trying to understand different things. All my good still stays the same. But when it comes to the good of this movie, the epilogue to me, which holds the nightmare scene of this movie, is by far one of the greatest moments in comic book history, if not just Batman and Joker history, if you don't want to say comic book history. But the speech, the dialogue, the discussion that Batman and Joker has in that scene is just phenomenal. It leaves you wanting more. It leaves you like, I need to see these two on screen more often. I need to see them interact in this way. I want to know how they got to this moment, or to this point. Obviously, it is just a dream, so what's happening here isn't exactly what's going to play out in future installments or anything like that, but it gives you an idea of the mindset of both of these characters, especially if they end up in a world like the Nightmare world. I love it. It's beautiful, just in so many ways. But let's kind of start at the beginning. I know I jumped to the end there. The movie starts off fantastic. The showing of the death of Superman again, showing his screams spreading across the galaxy, essentially the world, and then into space and everything like that. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm probably saying beautiful way too much here. I apologize. But I like how we see each of the mother boxes awaken. It adds to because there was questions about, why did Steppenwolf come? What's the point? And there was really no reason in the 2017 version that really explains it, why they're coming now for the mother boxes. There's often been times where people are like, well, why did Steppenwolf wait so long to come and get him? Like, why didn't he just come whenever? Because there's really no explanation on why they waited. In this movie, with them awakening, and they go into the story that they can hear the mother boxes when they're awoken, and when they're awake, it draws them to it, which I thought was excellent. I think that's very, it's perfect for what they need to do. With that, I think that they, with the mother boxes, just the importance of keeping them protected. Another thing 2017 just didn't have. They just, why are they protecting them? What's the point of protecting them? And why are they hardly protecting them? I mean, you take a look at what happens in Atlantis in 2017, and Steppenwolf basically just walks right up and is like, yoink, and just walks away. You don't see that it's actually protected and that there's, a whole thing about it. Same with the Amazonians. Those Amazons, they're in there watching it at all times. They're not just standing there because it's awoken or they think something's coming. No, they've been there, and they have, to me, it appears that they have somebody there at all times. So again, it's one of those things. It's expanding the story. As I said in my non-spoiler, it expands the story and it better explains what is going on. Bruce getting the team together, the going and talking to Aquaman the first time, and I think that it could have been shortened a little. I think just overall, I think that there's some moments. These are a couple of the moments that I think could have been shortened. This movie, while it's almost 4 hours, I think they could have cut. If you take away the slow motion, like I think that they should have, and cut some fat, trim some fat off of some of the things, you could easily, cut 30 minutes off the movie, 25, 30 minutes. But overall, I think it is a very, very, very strong movie. And, it's one of those things, like I was sitting there and people love to compare DC to Marvel. And I've had a couple discussions on social media about it, and they're like, oh, compare it to this, compare it to that. And the only way that I could truly compare it is think of the first and second Avengers movie, smash them together, remove some stuff. That's kind of what the first 3 hours of this movie is just kind of the first two Avengers just thrown together, some things like that. That's kind of how you can look at it. If you're a big Marvel fan, that's a good way to see it, is you're getting 2 movies in the first 3 hours of this film, 2.5 hours of this film, and then the rest of it is a brand new movie that just goes nonstop. One of the scenes that's kind of in the middle of the movie that I wasn't a huge fan of is the Martha and Lois scene, because to me, it was a beautiful moment between a motherly figure, the mother of the woman, or of the man that Lois loved, and Lois, and it was kind of like, look, I've had to accept this. I've had to move on, and I think that you need to, and you should move on as well. And yeah, I think that's kind of what I would have gotten from that scene a lot more had they not then introduced that Martha was Martian Manhunter. That just kind of seemed confusing to me, because what was the point? What was the point of making that the Martian Manhunter? I know that when he walks out, the door closes, he says, "The world needs you too, Lois." That could just have easily have been Martha saying the same thing. Didn't have to be Martian Manhunter. I think that it was out of place in the film. And I know it's something that Zack teased for quite some time, but that is an issue that I had with it, because it just, to me, didn't fit the knowledge that the Martian Manhunter had about Martha's situation in life right now. Just seemed a little like, I mean, why does he know all this? Why would he be able to talk about this? Everything like that. It just, to me, it could have been done slightly better, I think, if they would have just kept it as Martha and Lois and not added the Martian aspect there. But it was a very touching scene. Just one of the scenes that I didn't exactly appreciate, or not appreciate, just didn't like in it, because I appreciate what he was trying to do, but again, it didn't land. It did not land for me. The Iris and Barry scene I thought was really cool. You see the chemistry between the two actors, and the characters, I think, are going to be utilized greatly in the Flash movie. But again, overall, it's a moment that wasn't exactly needed. You have no explanation who this woman is. Again, to the general audience, they're going to watch this and they're going to say, okay, this is Barry saving a random woman. That's all. There's no explanation that, oh, my name's Iris West, anything like that. So again, it's a great scene, one that I really thought was cool to watch. And it established Barry, his character. Again, the characterization that I wasn't a big fan of, but it does kind of give you an understanding of who he is as a character. So I get why it's in the movie. I just don't know if they needed to make that Iris at that moment, because unless they do something in the Flash movie that connects to that, but with them going with Justice League as being the canonical version of Justice League within their DCEU proper timeline, I just don't see them referencing that moment at all. But we'll see. We will see, I guess. Aquaman, I think, was utilized so much better in this. He wasn't a klepto. He wasn't somebody who just steals stuff, and doesn't. Honestly, in Justice League, he steals something from the back. Well, they call it the back end, but it's really not the back end. But he steals something from there. Like, what the hell? Like, what's the deal with that? I don't understand. But what's going on, Jay House? I'm doing my review here. I'm going to jump and start taking comments here after that. But yeah, what's the deal? Like, why'd they do that in 2017? I like that he's a lot more established of what kind of character he is. I like his attitude towards the Atlanteans, as well as, who he is and where his place is in the world. And I'm going to get into it here in a little bit, but, his relationship with the Atlanteans, as well as his relationship with Mira and Volko, as well as where they're at in this world, it's easy to see now why Aquaman would not fit in line with Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, Batman was done perfectly. We see him becoming the Batman that we all hoped that Ben Affleck would become. And he does. He becomes Batman. He's hopeful. One of my favorite lines is towards the end, and Alfred goes, how do you know, how can you be so sure that he's going to show up, talking about Superman? And he goes, faith, Alfred, faith. And the hopefulness that is back inside of Batman is a beautiful thing to see, because we saw how dark, dreary, and dire he was in Batman vs Superman. It's called character development, people. That's what you see. And in 2017's Justice League, he actually still seems a little bit dire, and to the point where he tries to get himself killed. He tries to sacrifice himself. And while, yeah, it sounds like, oh, okay, it makes sense that he would sacrifice himself, in honor of Superman, it's actually very dark of him in the way that he tries to go about doing it. In this movie, he's like, look, no matter what happens, no matter what you see, stick to the plan. He knows that what he's doing is could be where he dies, but he's not trying to hide it from the League. He's saying, look, this is a dangerous mission. So no matter what you see, what happens, stick to the plan. The League knows at that time. And he's not just trying to do this just to do it, to kill himself or anything. And I liked that about Batman in this movie. Cyborg, I touched on Ray Fisher a little bit. His story, I felt, was a little... I mean, maybe because I haven't lived through it. I know Ray Fisher's talked a lot on social media about how he lived with an absentee father and such, and I understand, that aspect of it. I was talking to a buddy of mine from the Spoilerverse, and we were sitting there talking. He's like, the thing that kind of bothered him, and I sort of agree, is how down Cyborg is towards his father, and how he blames his father for his mother dying. He blames his father for not being there for his mother dying. And that's kind of harsh. I mean, I get it. I understand that in moments like that, it could be, you're running on emotion, and, Cyborg, he's going to find any outlet to push that anger and that hatred out for losing his mother. Not to mention of what his father did to him to make him become this new being. But it's a little disappointing, because when you're talking about a movie of hopefulness, you don't see that until the end, until his father ends up dying and sacrificing himself for the League, for the betterment of humanity. But again, it's character development. It didn't land with me as much as some other people, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It didn't land with me so much. But moving on, Wonder Woman. Whew. A lot of people question, why would Grace Randolph say people want Zack Snyder to do a Wonder Woman movie? Well, here's the thing. Zack gets Wonder Woman. Zack understands that she's a warrior. Zack understands how to utilize her in that empowering women, being a hero. Not saying Patty doesn't understand that, but did you watch Wonder Woman 84? Did you watch how much of a joke they made Wonder Woman in that movie? Zack gets it. Zack understands. She is a warrior princess. She is a god, basically. I mean, you gotta utilize the tools that you have there, and he does a fantastic job with that with Wonder Woman. And there's no more of this her questioning her, should I be a leader, should I not be a leader, like was in 2017. But she was more confident in herself and realizing and understanding that she needs to step outside. She needs to be out and making an impact on this world. Whereas in 2017, you just don't get that at all. And again, utilizes jokes in 2017, alongside Barry Allen, but it's fantastic what they do with Wonder Woman in this movie. I absolutely love it completely. With that, I mean, Superman, as I said in my non-spoiler, he shows up at the end, not completely, and not in the movie as much as probably we would like to have seen him. But the moments that he is in this film, for those of you out there who are like, between Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, he's not my Superman. Guys, look, you're getting him. And I know you want more of it. I know you want to see more of him. we're going to get that down the line in the Snyderverse. Yes, the Snyderverse, I'm saying, is coming back completely. We're going to see the Superman you've all wanted. That it's character arc. It's developing a character. It's going from who am I, where am I in this world, to the world doesn't want me, to accepting who he is, accepting his place in the world, and saying, no matter what, I'm going to be who I'm meant to be. Here we are. So for those of you who are like, he's not my Superman, dude, watch this movie, watch what happens. You're going to love it. It's fantastic. It's amazing. He is very much the Superman you've always wanted. Again, it wasn't a lot of them, but it was enough, again, because this movie wasn't about just Superman. It was about building the League off of what Superman stood for. My least favorite moment with Superman, though, was at the very end during the epilogue where, he rips open his shirt and you see the S. I'm actually kind of mad that it was still the black suit there. I think it would have been more impactful. I think it would have been a little standing out a bit more had it been his red and blue suits with the yellow and, popping through. I just, for me, I think that would have been a lot better for sure. What's going on, Andrew? About to get out of my review here, and then we'll just have open discussion. So just stick around, man. But yeah, it was a great movie. The final couple things I want to talk about in my spoiler review and how great this was. The scene when Cyborg goes into, or they're on the ship about to resurrect Superman, and he has the vision by the Kryptonian ship kind of shows him a vision, or maybe it's his body doing it. I don't know, but shows the vision of the future of what's going to happen. And we see Diana dead, being burned with the coins on her eyes, very Viking-esque type of ceremony. You see Arthur dying. I could not believe that they actually showed the dead bones of Lois in Superman's arms. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was like, there was thought that we were going to get to see that. A lot of people kept asking, is this going to happen in this movie? Are we going to see it? I never thought that we would see even this much of it, but we saw it. And I was taken aback. I was like, wow, like that, they went there. Amazing. Then you see the dead, I believe it's Kilowog, dead Lantern in the rubble, which I thought was a nice little touch as well. But it was an amazing scene. I loved every little scene that you saw with the nightmare world of the future that is to come. Just builds and it excites you for what can happen in the Snyderverse. And I know I said it was going to be the last thing, but a couple more things real quick. How many times did they mention the multiverse in this thing? Darkseid, there's a talk with Darkseid and Steppenwolf and Desaad, and there's discussion of the multiverse between them. You have the Joker in the epilogue who's like, how many timelines, do you allow this world to happen because you're afraid to die? Barry talks about how crazy things with time happen. And, that's the thing. That's what you need to realize is Zack was building the multiverse. He was starting to build off the multiverse in his films. So if they would have continued that route in 2017, they could still go. They still could have done whatever they wanted to do. It just baffles me that these execs were like, this movie's unwatchable. How the hell is that movie unwatchable? How is that movie unwatchable? I don't know, guys. I don't know, but I'm going to open it up to everybody else now. I know there's not many people watching, but I am going to open it up to everybody else right now. Ask your questions, make your comments, do whatever you want. Do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on everything. I want you to ask questions. I want to get involved. But as I'm going to continue here, let's talk about the future. Now, personally, the Snyderverse or Zack Snyder's Justice League doesn't go in line with what we were getting in what we got in Aquaman. It just doesn't. And that's kind of disappointing, I think, for some people. I think, it's not. A lot of people wanted Aquaman to stay in line. I think people wanted it to still connect to it, and it just doesn't, unfortunately. Mira, first of all, has a British accent in this movie, which was a little surprising. I wasn't expecting that, but when she started talking, I was like, what? Oh, okay. That's a choice. Let's go with it. So then she talks about how her parents are dead. We know in the Aquaman movie, her father is alive, played by Dolph Lundgren, of all people. So you have that aspect that doesn't really fit and allow you to move forward in saying, okay, look, Zack Snyder's Justice League happened, Aquaman happened, we can continue on that route. At this point, you're going to have to kind of remove Aquaman movie from the Snyderverse. As Zack was saying months ago, his movies are essentially Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, can you still expand off that? Can you get the Batfleck series and so on and so forth? Yes, you can. But the movies that have already come out post 2017, or since they changed to Justice League following that, you can't. To me, you can't connect those to the Snyderverse as much as you'd like, or as I'd like, or anybody would like, unfortunately. So, can this stuff continue? Will we see restore the Snyderverse? Well, that's a question I want you guys to help me answer. Now, Justin, I know you posted this about 30 minutes ago. Right as I started, movie was garbage. Was 2.5 out of 10. Sorry, Justin, I don't agree with you at all. I can understand if people don't enjoy the movie as much as as possibly you would have wanted to. I think a lot of people don't understand and still don't understand that while this is a new movie, there's still going to be many aspects of this film that were in the 2017 version. I was shocked to see jokes pop up. I know a lot of people were upset that Wonder Woman says, Kal-El, no. Again, that's something that I never had a problem with from 2017. I thought it was adorable the way that she said it with her accent, but I know a lot of people just didn't like that moment in 2017 and didn't like that it was here. There's a lot of things that people just didn't completely realize. All right. Well, okay, Justin, I'm going to pull this one up here. You say it made 0 sense. What made zero sense to you? I think the beauty of this movie is it explains everything perfectly of what is happening, what is going on. You have to remember this is a direct follow-up from Batman vs. Superman. So everything that happens is playing off of what happened in that movie and starting to expand a larger universe. So to you, what made 0 sense? I want to know, maybe, are you talking about the Kal-El no thing? Just let me know what you're saying here, what you're trying to say. Jay House said, yo, a little bit while ago. What's up? If you're still watching, thanks, man. If not, definitely check out Jay House's channel. Excellent channel. Great guy. Check out his stuff. Andrew Casali. I can never say your name. I'm sorry, Andrew. If you're watching, I know you loved it. A lot of people loved it. That's the thing. A lot of people loved it. And it's shocking to me that there's people out there that's saying they didn't like it, because I just don't understand. I don't understand. Why did Steppenwolf add your eye? Why are Darkseid eyes glowing orange? Okay, well, you're asking questions here about character designs that shouldn't ruin a movie for you at all. I just don't think it should. You have to. Okay, first off, there's explanation in Darkseid's evolution in the comics. They didn't go into that in the movie. From when he's Euxis to becoming Darkseid, there is a story there. There is how he becomes the major threat that he is, or that he becomes as Darkseid. So I do encourage you. This isn't a history lesson. This isn't a teaching lesson. I'm not going to sit here and get into it. Plus, I don't know it all perfectly. I mean, I don't read every single comic, but I do know that there are reasons and there's explanations for all of that. So I do encourage you to jump on even your Wikipedia to even get a small understanding of that, of how Euxis becomes Darkseid. That may help explain the eyes to you. I don't understand your Steppenwolf comment, though. Why did they put the scene of Aquaman saving someone? Made zero sense, waste of time. Let me take a drink here because I will explain it. It wasn't zero sense. Every single character, with the exception of Batman, in this film had a moment to show off what kind of person they actually are. The beginning, we see Wonder Woman. What is that? France or Paris, or I don't know where it was. Either way, you see Wonder Woman saving the people in the museum. Now, obviously, she's saving multiple people because of her abilities, her powers. That's why they show that. The Flash, you see him saving Iris West. Now, like I said, I don't know why they had to make it Iris West unless they had bigger plans for Iris in the original script for the Flash movie that they had back in 2016, 2017. But you see him saving somebody because you're seeing what kind of person and kind of people they are. They want to do good. And the same thing with Aquaman here. In this movie, it wasn't about, revealing, oh, there's parademons coming into the ocean. This is just showing that Aquaman will do the right thing. He is somebody who stands up for people and will stand up to save people. He even explains it later on in a way whenever they're like, I think Barry's like, oh, I know you don't want to do this or you don't believe it. He's like, I never said that. It's just, so you have to pay attention to the movie and understand that they're setting up these characters a certain way to show, like, look, despite like Barry, he's willing and ready to rescue whenever he can. With Aquaman, he'll do it, but then whenever he's done, he's a little peeved off about doing it. The Atlanteans could speak underwater and we're breathing in land. Okay, the Atlanteans, you got to remember, this was made before Aquaman, and they had yet to figure out how to create how they were going to speak and how they could breathe on land and what have you. So this is before James Wan's Aquaman. So Snyder had a different idea and vision when it came to the Atlanteans than James Wan has. Again, it's another reason why you can't connect Aquaman to this movie as many would like to do. It doesn't bother me. I thought the bubble is a little bit weird, but it is what it is. It doesn't ruin the movie for me, and it's not a negative either. I thought it was actually kind of cool to see and hear like Mira making underwater noises, almost like dolphins would make, and talking to the other Atlanteans. I thought that was kind of cool. Why did Wonder Woman murder terrorists when she can move faster than Bottle? She literally could have disarmed them all. The murderer is a guy in front of kids and say you can be whatever you want. I mean, again, it's a superhero movie. It's a little more edgier than what you're used to. I don't know. I can't. Could she have moved faster and stopped? Maybe, but it is what it is, man. I mean, I'm not going to say technically we don't see him dead. I mean, that's a Zack Snyder trope. I mean, he look at what he did on Batman vs Superman. People are like, "Oh, Batman kills so many people," and he'll sit there and joke around and say, "Oh, look, they're probably not dead." I mean, just things like that. I mean, it is what it is. It was an amazing scene to see Wonder Woman in action again. Did the guy die? Maybe you're led to believe he did or not, but it is what it is. What is going on? Joker Fleckcast. Yes. Justin is, I guess, triggered, as you're saying, maybe. What's going on, Derpy Gaming? I thought it was good. It was good. It was a good movie. And I know some people may sit there and there's some people are saying it's a masterpiece. For me, it is not as good as Man of Steel. Man of Steel to me is the masterpiece. That is the ultimate superhero movie. It's got everything. To me, Man of Steel still sits atop. However, this movie is better than Batman vs Superman in my book. It is. It's better than that, and it's something that I would absolutely watch, and I'd love to have available now to me. You do realize not one person really talked to Superman, yet it's supposed to be a team. You do realize that the formation of the Justice League was at the end of the movie. I mean, the thought of Superman coming back was something they thought up. They bring him back to life, and then they have no idea if he's going to join them. And they're like, okay, well, We did this thing. Hopefully he's still good. Again, the faith that Bruce has. But then they go and do their fight. Superman shows up and helps them win that battle. And then it's, okay, let's wrap this up, because the next movie, and this was Zack's plan, the next movie, you were going to see the League in action together, working together, talking together. Yeah, I mean, the way he wrote it, he could have maybe fit some lines in there of them speaking with one another, but I don't think it should ruin the movie, because the Justice League is only officially formed at the end of this film completely after they win. And it was already a 4-hour movie at this point. It was 4 hours and still felt unfinished. It was supposed to feel unfinished. That's the thing. This was a buildup leading to the next 2 parts. That's all I want to say. Why did every mother box awake except cyborgs? Talk about plot. Look, man, you're just finding any reason to make an issue with it. Every movie has plot holes. Every movie doesn't explain everything to a T. I think, right now you just sound like, to me, dude, you sound like somebody who was going in to find reasons to not like this movie. And you found these reasons and you're just going with it and saying, you know what? It wasn't for me. And that's okay. That's okay. This one here, I'm going to answer for you. Why did Cyborg's dad murder himself when he had a remote button to turn the machine on? Talk about plot driving. Again, no, you're wrong on that one. 100%. Yes, he did have a remote. He grabbed the remote, went and put the box in. And if you watch, he goes to run out of that room. And when he goes to run out of that room, Steppenwolf breaks into the lab. And he's afraid. He's a big freaking alien. He's afraid. So he backs off, because if he walks out of that room, he could kill him before he presses the button. He could, and he just backs up so he has time to press that button. I just think you're going a little too much there. Again, Justin, if you listen to my issue with the Manhunter stuff, yeah, I already went over that. Try and stay nice, guys, in the comments. I know that it's easy to, when somebody's, ragging on something that you like, it's easy to jump in and start, bashing on them, calling them a Marvel fan. Look, this is all about having fun, having a great discussion here. I'm open to discuss any questions you have. I'm not going to have answers for everything on them, so, throw them out there. I'd love to talk about them, but the movie is an experience. It truly is. It's something that I think everybody should definitely check out. It's one of those people, compare to Lord of the Rings on the epicness of it. And they're not wrong. I mean, it is a very, very, very epic moment. So, absolutely. I mean, a film. It's very epic. And I love it for that. I think they did an amazing job with it. What was the point of introducing Deathstroke and Lex? Well, first off, they didn't introduce Lex. Lex was introduced in Batman vs. Superman. But again, building for the future, this movie, Justin, please understand, this movie is the Snyder Cut. This is what Snyder had envisioned back in 2015, 2016 when he made this movie. It was to continue on after this. So in this script, in this film, he set up teases, Easter eggs, things to lead to the next films, as well as spin-off films, the Batfleck series, and so on and so forth. That's what he was setting up in this movie. This was not just a one and done that was supposed to happen. This was setting up so much more. So introducing Deathstroke was actually setting up the Batman film that Ben Affleck was writing. Hence why he tells Deathstroke, here's some information you want to know about Batman. Batman's Bruce Wayne. Like, do you see, like, this isn't about just saying, oh, let's just throw stuff in here because it's a one and done. This was supposed to be more. And the fans called for the Snyder Cut. The fans wanted the Snyder Cut. And guess what we got? We got the Snyder Cut. I don't know. I just, you're just, Justin, you just seem like somebody who just doesn't want to enjoy the the movie at all. Like you were just looking for reasons to, yeah. So um, I don't want to do it, but I did it. I threw him in timeout for a bit because he's just bashing on the movie, and I want this to be a place where we can all discuss and enjoy it. So, yeah. So, guys, what do you think? um, so Joker Fleck, I see you're in here. Come on, tell me your thoughts on the movie instead of attacking Justin here, which has gotten old. Tell me what you thought of the movie. Derpy Gaming, I wouldn't even acknowledge him. Justin is just looking at the negatives. Exactly. That's a guy. I threw him in timeout right now. If when he comes back from timeout, he's just spouting spouting crap, I'm just gonna get rid of him completely because I don't want that. I don't want the negativity. This movie is a great time. It's a good time. Joker Fleck. Whoops. 10 out of 10, superb film. It is a superb film. Again, I don't give it the rating systems like people do. I don't say, oh, it's 9 out of 10 or it's a 95 out of 100, whatever. Yeah, I don't do that. It's a movie that I recommend to anybody, 100%. Lots of scope for sequels and spinoffs. Absolutely. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to get Restore the Snyderverse? Now, one of the things that I want to talk about now, I believe it was Small Screen, which Edward Lauder over at Small Screen, he's a great guy. I love talking to him. He's fun. He's fun to talk to. So if you haven't checked out Small Screen, check out their website as well as their YouTube channel. He released yesterday morning, I want to say it was like an hour or two after the Snyder Cut dropped. He dropped a scoop or a news article. I don't know if you can call it a scoop, but he dropped an article about them doing a Joker project. Both Leto and Snyder are working on a Joker project. Could be live action, could be animated, could be graphic novel. I think that's a great idea. But as I'm starting to kind of put things together, how great would it be? I know Snyder really, really wants to do the death of Robin because he wants to show that backstory between Joker and Batman. Just hear me out. What if we got the death of Robin from the Joker's point of view? The entire story. So Batman would be in it, but he would actually be a supporting character. He wouldn't be the main character. Joker would be the main character. I think that would be a fantastic idea, in my opinion. I think it would be amazing. And then you could leave the Batfleck series or movie that is being rumored to just be Bruce versus Deathstroke or Bruce versus Slade. I would love to see that. I would love to see that if they did it that way. Joker was phenomenal. Leto truly showed me what kind of Joker he could be. Absolutely. Derpy Gaming. This movie is definitely way better than the theatrical in every way. 100%. There was no doubt in my mind. There should have been no doubt in anybody's mind that this movie was going to be better than the 2017 version because you could just watch the 2017 version and see the stupidness and the shit that they put into it. To top it off, we had all of that information that Zack had dropped, all of the little scoops and info that were dropped from the Culture Nerd, from other people, that you knew that 2017's version was not the vision of Snyder. And then plus the cast and crew. Deathstroke versus Batman HBO Max series. I want that. I do. Leto Joker backstory is flashbacks. Again, I would have been all for that had I not seen and heard about this idea that Snyder and Leto are working on a project together. I just think that doing the death of Robin from Joker's point of view would be the most amazing way to do it, because you would kind of change it up from what we've seen in the comics or animated series, anything like that. You would see it from a different angle, and I would love to see that. So I think the Joker backstory and flashbacks, I think you should still have Joker in the Batman Deathstroke series in some form or fashion, but I really think that they should pull the Robin aspect out of it, the death of Robin aspect out of it, and give that to a solely Joker-centric movie or miniseries or something. That would be amazing. It would be amazing. Wouldn't it, Derpy Gaming? Gareth Evans, Raid and Raid 2 was supposed to direct the Deathstroke film. Yeah, I know. Joe Manganiello talked about the whole idea of the Deathstroke movie that he was trying to push with Gareth Edwards, or Gareth Evans, not Edwards, sorry, Gareth Evans. That would have been fantastic. I think that there's still a possibility. I think people need to sit back now and just be patient. The thing I tell people all the time is to stay excited. Keep your enthusiasm up for Zack Snyder's Justice League. As long as we continue being enthusiastic, as long as we're patient and we stay united, big things can come of this. Zack Snyder's Justice League was, before the movie even came out, a success socially. Everyone on social media. It was absolutely successful. Multiple servers and streaming services crashed over this last week because of this movie. My HBO Max did not crash. At 3 a.m., I was awake, 3 a.m. Eastern time. I clicked on HBO Max. It took about 2 or 3 minutes to load. I went to Justice League. I clicked on it, and it took another 2 or 3 minutes to load. So it was running really slow, but once the movie got up, it was running perfectly fine. I don't know if anybody else had issues like that with HBO Max, but I know other countries with their streaming services, a lot of them crashed. Andrew, what's up, man? Superman vs. Steppenwolf with Man of Steel music was amazing. Yes, so much. Oh, man, hearing that. Again, this is the Superman I think so many people were waiting for. The Superman that we all knew, big fans of Snyder's, we all knew. We knew it was coming, for sure. This is the Superman we all wanted. I think there's a good chance. Snyder Cut is trending highly. It has been. I think Geralt over on Twitter, I think he put that over the last 2 days, some form of the Snyder Cut, whether it's Batman, Darkseid, Snyder Cut, Restore the Snyderverse, something like that, has over more than 2 million tweets over on Twitter. That's insane. There are a couple of repurposed Henry Cavill shots in Snyder Cut. There were the scene in the Nightmare timeline when he lands, stands up, and looks with the red eyes. That was repurposed from Batman vs. Superman. And then a lot of people believe, and there's no confirmation of this, but it does look very much like it, the scene where Lois is dead, in his arms, the bones are in his arms. That is from Man of Steel. Yeah, that one there. From an alternate take from Man of Steel. Possibly. There hasn't been any confirmation. I know that Wonder Meg had a discussion with Zach on Thursday or Wednesday before the Snyder Cut was released, before he had to rush off to an emergency conference call or something. But there was something I believe she asked him. I think it was her. Maybe it was another interviewer. But she did have some pretty cool things that she talked about there. The Truth. Hey, man, I hope you enjoyed the film. Flash saving Iris was perfect. The visuals, music, everything was on point. Look, I love that scene. I agree with you. It was a great scene. It was done perfectly. To me, though, I just don't know why it had to be Iris, because they don't explain anything about it being Iris in the movie. Again, if there was more to expand on that in the original Flash script that back from 2015, 2016, maybe it would have had a payoff. But at this point, it doesn't look like there's going to be a payoff in the Flash movie, at least, unless they've re-added that to it. But to me, it was just kind of, again, this is the movie that Zack Snyder wanted, so I'm not taking that away from him. I understand why it's there. It's just one of those things that even back in 2017, they already went through like 3 writers and 2 directors for the Flash movie. So, it just kind of seems like where was going to be the payoff with that being Iris later on. The first shot of Henry powering his heat vision, I believe, was taken 17 promo video of JL. Maybe. That scene with Lex and Deathstroke screams greenlit Batfleck series. Okay, Andrew, here's the thing. Let me take a drink here. In 2016, yes, it was greenlit. That's the whole point. Right now, is it greenlit? I have reason to believe it is. But you got to remember, Zach has stated on multiple occasions, this is the movie I wanted to release in 2017. He was not removing anything, any of the Easter eggs or hints at future projects. He wasn't removing it because we asked for the Snyder cut, so he dropped it and said, "Here's the Snyder cut." So, while yes, it does scream that the Batfleck series or movie is green lit, you got to remember this was the original moment in 2017, or this was supposed to come out in 2017, which at the time when they filmed this and shot this, the Batfleck movie was green lit at that time. Not saying that we're not going to get it now. So don't think I'm saying that. I just think people need to step back a little bit and realize that everything that this movie sets up was originally set up back in 16 and 17. That doesn't not necessarily mean that every aspect of it is going to be able to move forward. We hope. We keep the enthusiasm up. We stay patient. We stay united. It can happen. But don't think just because it was in this movie that it's definitely going to happen. The best piece of music score is Flash Reverse. So I wanted to talk about this. I meant to talk about it a little bit ago. My favorite scene in this movie, and I'm not afraid to admit it because I know a lot of people teared up and cried in this film, but they did so at emotional moments, emotional, impactful moments. And I kind of hinted to this on Twitter yesterday, but I teared up. I legitimately, when they lost, when the league lost and the unity was completed, I was on the edge of my seat. And then you see the Flash and he starts talking and he's like, I got to run, got to do faster. I got to break my one rule. I got to do this. And he starts running and my jaw dropped. And it wasn't because, and I knew we were going to get a scene like this. And my jaw didn't drop just because of the scene itself. It was more so because I could not believe I was witnessing this happen on screen. And I started to get teary-eyed because of my joy, of how excited I was. I could not believe what I was witnessing. And then you add to the fact that he begins talking to his father in a way about how he is one of the best of the best. His father always wanted the best for him to be the best that he could be. And he starts talking and I got so teary-eyed because it was just an amazing scene. The visuals were freaking amazing. The music was fantastic. You were exactly right, Joker. It was amazing. I loved it so much. Whoever thinks this is the same film with extra scenes is crazy. Yes, Andrew, exactly right. This is not the same film with extra scenes. There's so much more to it than in 2017. I mean, think about it. The unity, while in 2017, the unity was spoken of in that it can create a different world, create the world of apocalypse. That's all it was. We didn't exactly understand why Steppenwolf was doing it. We didn't know that, we knew, but Darkseid was out there. We didn't know that he was looking for the anti-life equation. All of this, those are new aspects to the story that makes it bigger, makes it larger, makes it a different movie. It was amazing. I don't know how people could say that. I really don't. The only thing missing was Jon Stewart Green Lantern instead of Martian Manhunter. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. Zach alluded to that they actually shot. I think it was with Hollywood Reporter or Variety, one of them. He actually shot his Green Lantern scene, and then the studio was like, nope, can't do it. Not allowed to do it. That's kind of disappointing, and I do not mind that they added Martian Manhunter instead. It's just going to be interesting how he gets Green Lantern added into the mix now, because I think that would have been an excellent introduction to the Lantern Corps. Is at the end of the movie, because it would have been nice to see. But we'll see how he gets him added, because when the Snyderverse continues, he's going to have more control, and he's going to be allowed to bring in a lantern. Now, I know a lot of people were talking about the Ryan Reynolds stuff that happened, Revelation that came out a few days ago. And then Zach reiterated it during an interview with Wonder Meg. And, he explains, like, there was discussions about bringing Ryan back, but it's not that he would have been the main Green Lantern. The main Green Lantern was going to be Jon Stewart. Now, a lot of people, I think Zach actually said that it would have been Hal, or people were just making that up. I don't know how that would have played out, because the 2011 Green Lantern would not have been canon with this film at all. But it's interesting. It's now going to be interesting to see how they move forward with the Green Lantern, because will they bring in Jon Stewart, which is what he wants to do? Will he be allowed to, or are they going to make him bring somebody else in? Is it they going to have to bring in like a Kyle Rayner or something like that, or Jessica Cruz to utilize the lanterns? Because we have the Green Lantern Corps show going on. Actually, I think it's starting production relatively soon for HBO Max. So how are they going to do that? What are they going to let him do? Because while he's going to have a lot more control, we know he really wants to add the lanterns to the mix. I mean, the lanterns are a big part of just the Justice League, and I think it would be interesting to see how he finds a way to do that. Oops, not what I wanted here. Props to Junkie XL. Absolutely. Again, as I said in my review a little bit ago, I do feel that there are moments and parts of the score that were not up to snuff. Sorry, I'm looking to see if there's anybody that wanted to jump on that I messaged. It wasn't quite up to snuff for what I was hoping, because there were, again, a few moments that I think were misses with the music. But overall, the music was fantastic. So big props to Junkie XL. I actually just started listening to the soundtrack today before my show. I hadn't had a chance. I mean, I woke up so I went to bed Wednesday night. I went to bed. I think I fell asleep finally between like 11:30, 12 o'clock, 11, probably closer to 11:30. I then woke up about 1:45, went downstairs, made a pot of coffee, made something to snack on, and sat down, kind of watched a couple of the hype videos that were on YouTube, getting hyped up for it. And then I did not go back to sleep until last night at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I was running on like 2 hours of sleep, less than 2 hours of sleep over the course of 36, 48 hours, something like that. It was crazy. I was exhausted. So I didn't have a chance to check out the score on Spotify until today. I started listening to it, and it is fantastic. I love it. Imagine that in theaters in 20. This movie is ahead of its time. Even now, in a way, the scope of it, I think the reception for this movie would have been better than what we got in 2017. And I do think that it would have made more than $600 million. I think it would have made closer to that $1 billion that they wanted. Maybe $1 billion, maybe not. Again, being that it's 4 hours, I don't think it could have made that much money, because I don't think enough people would have gone to see it. The beauty about what Marvel does is they have a formula, and their movies, with the exception of Endgame, they all are 2.5 hours long. And you can take a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old to go watch a movie like that, and they'll come out all excited, and sometimes they'll want to go back again. For a 4-hour movie, that's a little more difficult with children, and the children are what kind of push Marvel a little more than people believe or understand. I can't believe people believe WB saying Justice League is canon and Zack's is not. It's not that people believe. It's fact. I mean, that's what it is. They are moving forward with the DCEU proper timeline, with The Flash, with Aquaman, with Wonder Woman 84, with everything that's coming out in that proper timeline. They're going off of Justice League. And that's fine. They can do that. More power to them. But that does not mean that we cannot continue Zack Snyder's Justice League over here on HBO Max moving forward for the next 5 to 6 years. I mean, you can do so much in that span of time. You green light 4 or 5 projects, build that little Snyderverse up over there, and you got fans happy over here, you got fans happy over here, and it is what it is. So again, it's not that people believe, it's fact. It's what's happening. It is what it is. Do we have to be happy about it? Being Snyder fans? No, we don't have to, but we have to say, okay, look, but we still want the Snyderverse. So give us that over here. If you're not going to give it to us over here, give it to us over here. And they'll do it. I have no doubt in my mind. Snyder Cut is extremely rewatchable, unlike Justice League. Justice has been served. Yeah, yes. Love the Victor Koo winning fan poster at the back. Yes. I've had him on my show a couple times. Actually, if you saw his video that he dropped yesterday on his journey to getting his prize and journey to the Snyder Cut and everything, his very brief moment is me talking on it and him on my show. So definitely check that out and see if you can catch it, because I I love that he did it. I love Victor Koo is such an amazing person. I got that, I bought that back when I first had him on my show before we were even a YouTube show, when we were just an audio podcast. I had him on the show and we discussed everything. And he is a stand-up guy. He is one of the nicest human beings I think I've ever talked to. He is so grateful for everything that has happened. And I just encourage everybody, if you can, go buy this. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. I love it so much. And it's going to be up as long as I do this. It's always going to be up. So definitely, but check out his video if you haven't yet, because it is a nice little video journal all the way leading up to him getting to go and do the stuff that he did for Zack Snyder using the clapperboard. I think he even talks about using a boom or holding a boom mic. Pretty cool. Love how Junkie reused Zimmer's themes from Man of Steel. 100%. 100%. The utilizing the Man of Steel theme, you had to. You couldn't not utilize that with him coming back. It was very important that he did that. Very, very important that he did that. Backstreet Nerds, hi. How's it going? Thank you for joining. Let us know what you thought of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Open discussion here. Let us know. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Evander Holyfield. Oh, man. What's going on, man? Zack Snyder's Justice League is greater than everything else. If they don't make a new movie, I'm a riot. Hey, man. I mean, stay excited. Stay passionate. Stay united. It's going to happen. The success of this movie is unbelievable right now. So just stay excited. Keep your enthusiasm up. The tension between Batman and Joker was crazy. Never send a boy wonder to do a man's job. There's already comparisons, because every movie, Batman movie that has Joker, you have that moment in it where they have a discussion, they talk. In 1989's Batman, you have Joker and Batman talking in the bell tower at the end. In The Dark Knight, you have them in the interrogation room. In this movie, you have them in the nightmare sequence. Yeah, guys, it was an amazing scene. Can you compare it? To me, it is the best scene. I love the threat that Batman, the how he talks about Harley Quinn dying in his arms, and she begged him in her dying breath that when you kill the Joker, that you do it slow. I love it. I loved it so much. And then how he goes and I fucking will kill you. Oh man. I love it so much. Like I said, I've rewatched the nightmare sequence a number of times now. I've seen the movie. I've watched the movie 3.5 times, but that nightmare sequence I've definitely watched more, because I've just gone back and watched it multiple times. Snyder Cut exposed Aquaman is not canon. Mira has English accent and has no parents. Exactly. I said that a little bit ago. You kind of got to remove Aquaman now from that discussion of being part of the Snyderverse, which is fine. Aquaman is a good movie. I really enjoy Aquaman. I think it's one of the most beautifully shot comic book movies ever. I really enjoyed that movie. And it doesn't bother me that they can continue that story off over in this DCU and I say that all the time. There's a DCU proper timeline now. The Snyderverse is over here. You can still continue both. There's no issue with that. Saw his video. Yes, Victor is a great artist. He is. He is a great artist. I agree. Love his content. So peace out. I'll be back in future streams. Thanks, man. Talk to you later, Evander. Again, just the Batfleck and Joker scene. And I think that is one of the scenes that's going to be talked about the most. I know that a lot of people in their non-spoiler reviews before the movie came out were saying, oh, I'm interested to see this one moment being talked about for years to come. I think this is the moment that they were talking about. It's either this moment or the one that when Cyborg sees the future of all the heroes dying. Because both of those scenes to me are two of the most amazing scenes in the movie. We need Death of Robin backstory. Again, I agree. As I was saying earlier, I want the Joker, the Snyder Leto Joker project to be that, if you ask me. Sue Man, what's going on? How's it going? Hey man, want to see more or see Darkseid more? And comic Darkseid and Joker are together, and I don't understand exactly what you're saying, Sue Man, but yeah, I do want to see more Darkseid. Ray Porter, his voice was perfect for Darkseid, and he seemed menacing. He seemed scary. He seemed like a larger threat than Steppenwolf. It was done perfectly because here's the thing, and I know there's a lot of, look at what Marvel did. Look at what Marvel did with Thanos. They built him up for 47 movies, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean that Thanos seems more threatening because they built him up for more movies. It's all about how you portray the character and how the character is portrayed on screen that makes him feel more threatening. And Darkseid seems threatening as shit in this movie. And you can just see, just by the way he walks and carries himself, he's scary. And it's going to be interesting. The conversation between Batman and Joker was straight out of a comic book. That's why it's my favorite confrontation on screen with these characters. 100%, man. 100%. Darkseid was menacing. Exactly. I searched up Zack Snyder Justice League and you came up because I was checking if anyone else was streaming. Oh, cool. I'm glad. I'm glad that it popped up. Hopefully more people join in the conversation. Thank you for finding my channel. I got a huge channel. If you haven't checked out my stuff before, I got a lot on there. A lot more things coming. I am a huge DC fan, so I will talk a lot of DC, but from time to time, I do talk Marvel as well. I don't hate Marvel. I like Marvel. I just want them to do better. So I do talk about stuff like that. So stick around, hit that like button, hit subscribe, all that jazz. It'd be amazing if you did that. So thank you for joining, man. We need the Ayer cut. Jared Leto has redemption, but full redemption is near. Yes, we do. I want to see what Jared did with Joker and David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Absolutely. I hope we get that. I believe we're getting it. I've said this for months. I believe we're getting it. To me, I just feel like they're going to hold off on announcing it until closer to the Suicide Squad by James Gunn releasing, because I think they want to give that room to breathe. They want people to get excited about that and not allow this to overshadow that movie. And I think we'll get David Ayer's Suicide Squad next year in 2022. That's my belief. I'd say probably roughly around the same time as we got Zack Snyder's Justice League. Flight 2.0 was awesome, hearing both of his dads. Yes. You can't forget to mention that. It was a very amazing scene. And, it's time to fly, I think is what he said. Oh, it's a beautiful scene, and how he flies up into outer space and arms out in front of the sun. Beautiful scene. Absolutely. Release the Ayer cut. You've got the hashtag. Hashtag release the Ayer cut. Yes. You got any ideas how Darkseid will die? Well, Sue Man, do I have ideas? I mean, any idea I would have would just be wishful or fan theorizing. Your best bet is to, if you are interested to see what his plans were, on the internet, you will find those whiteboards that are up in the Dallas Texas exhibit. They're the initial plans for Zack Snyder's Justice League arc. Zack has stated that they're not exactly spoilers, while some parts from that story will obviously be pulled in if he ever gets to continue, but a lot of it has been changed and rearranged, just an evolution of time and how other movies perform. So I do recommend you checking those out, because it does kind of go into what his vision was for how Darkseid is defeated. But yeah, check that out. Theory though, any ideas for me? I honestly think that, I read the whiteboards, it does happen because of Batman, but he does play a large role in him being defeated in the end. But go read them. There's different things, different iterations of comics that you can find. The thing is does he really get defeated? Does he die? Or is he somebody that will always be looming in the background? Because Darkseid is somebody who, according to this, it seems like he can traverse the multiverse. He knows of the multiverse. They talk about the multiverse in this movie. Darkseid, Desaad, and Steppenwolf, they know of the multiverse. So can he traverse from every universe? So if he dies, is he really dead? Will he be defeated but not? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions there, obviously. Leto is nuts. His laugh, comic book come to life. I love his laugh. I've always liked his laugh. I loved his laugh in Suicide Squad in 2016. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought that it was. I love seeing different iterations of the Joker character. I do. I think that Warner Brothers and DC, I don't think they realize it, or maybe they do now realize it, that they have this character that you never have to do the same way twice. You don't have to do anything same with this character twice. You just need a couple pieces of his character for it to be that character. And in my opinion, that's why for me, the Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix failed, because I don't think it hit those couple parts that it needed to hit, which one is having Batman. You have to have Batman. For Joker to work, you have to have a Batman, in my opinion. But besides that, the Joker could be portrayed in so many different ways, and to see these different iterations is amazing. I love that idea, and that's why I really want to see if this rumor of Leto and Snyder working on a Joker project is true. I want to see it happen. Cyborg seeing how Nightmare Future came to be was intense. Seeing Clark in Batcave with Corpse Darkseid and on him. I said earlier in this stream, I couldn't believe that they showed that. I never thought that they would. I've known for a number of years, since I think Snyder talked about it at SnyderCon a few years ago. I've known since then that his plan was to have Lois die in the Batcave. So I knew it was an inevitability that it was going to come at some point. But the fact that it came or was shown, at least in part, was amazing. I couldn't believe it. Let's see. So there's a question here, and I honestly can't tell you, Sue, man. Has Darkseid died in comics? So let's do a quick look here. After an intense battle, the Anti-Monitor fuses the Black Racer with Flash and sends it after Darkseid. Using the fused Flash and his own powers, he kills Darkseid. With Darkseid dead, the universe is unbalanced as it has lost its god of evil. So yes, it appears that he has died in some form or fashion, which is not surprising. Again, I haven't read every single comic. I wish I could. I wish I had the ability to, but it gets kind of expensive collecting comics. I've found it really has. So it does. I mean, it's expensive. I tried when the Rebirth series came out. I was trying to keep up with those, and I just never could. I tried. Then I just kind of switched to just, all right, I'm just going to read Batman and Flash and Superman, and then even that expensive. And I was just like, all right, I'll read what I can when I can, because it gets kind of expensive. But I do have a big stack over on my dresser over there, just full of the Rebirth comics. So yeah, it is what it is. Man, I need Cavill Superman fighting Darkseid. It's coming, man. I believe it's coming. It has to. It has to, right? It has to come. Will that? I think that'll happen at the end of the arc. I think when we get Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2, I think mostly that is going to be, we're going to see the League together. We're going to see Darkseid be brought into it. We're going to see Darkseid then utilize the anti-life equation. And we're going to see desolation on Earth. And at that point, Superman, we get evil Superman. I don't think Superman will actually fight Darkseid until Part 3, when he comes back to not being evil anymore. But yes, I do want to see that. Andrew says, I know it has to come, but the haters and Warner Brothers and Hamada, Toby, will be in the way. Here's the thing. How did we get Zack Snyder's Justice League? It was Jason Kilar and Warner Media. They were the ones that were like, we got to make this happen. Let's find a way how we can make this happen. Yes, Zach and Debbie have both spoken about how the studio reached out to them to like, hey, how can we make this happen? But Jason Kilar was kind of the catalyst behind it. Warner Media, who is over top of Warner Brothers, over top of HBO, they're the ones that made it happen. So as much as you want to sit there and say Toby Emmerich, Walter Hamada are in the way, they can just as easily be pushed aside like they were a little more than a year ago when it was like, we're making Zack Snyder's Justice League happen. So the biggest question, and I said this a few weeks ago, the biggest question isn't now if it'll happen, because I truly believe it will. It's how will it happen? How will they get the funding? How much money is it going to take to do that? I'm having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue Facebook's end. It's possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, sorry. If you were watching on Facebook, jump over here. I don't know why they cut me off on Facebook, but maybe it's too long. I don't know. But anyways, it's the money aspect. How much money is it going to cost to get this completed? That's what you have to ask yourself. Personally, I think that the best way to finish Snyder's arc and his next couple films that he had planned would not be necessarily films, but to complete it as a mini series as a whole. Think of Game of Thrones, a season like that. Game of Thrones, you're looking at $100 to $200 million budget, and Game of Thrones was majorly successful. That's what they got to do. I think if they throw $200 million to $300 million down and say, finish your arc in episodic format, however many episodes you think it needs to be, but this is the amount of money you have, I think that would be the best way to do it. That's what I think. Let's anti-life equation, because you want to know what it is. I don't want to tell you wrong. So let's pull it up here and I will explain it, Suman. The anti-life equation was a transcendental mathematical form originally said to allow those who knew it to dominate the will of any sentient race. This is the ultimate goal of Darkseid. That's probably a good way. The easiest way to explain it is that you can gain control of anybody with that. So, it gives you the ability to control the universe. You can bend anybody to your will. And this is kind of alluded to. This is what Lex Luthor is trying to do in Batman vs. Superman. He's trying to control a god. He's trying to control Superman. So Lex Luthor is trying to do this in Batman vs. Superman, and he doesn't have that equation, but he tries to utilize and play off of Superman's emotions. He tries to say, okay, we're going to play off of Lois. We're going to play off of your mother, Martha. That's what he tries to do. Darkseid is going to essentially do the same thing, but utilizing the anti-life equation. Again, if you can control a god, you win. That's what Lex was trying to do. And I think you'll see if you read those storyboard or those whiteboards that Zach had created that are in that exhibit, Lex is involved. He's still trying to control Superman, and he tries to get the anti-life equation himself. But it's interesting. Zach even said himself he might not want to continue because of how they treated him. He also said his cut wasn't canon. Warner Brothers says it is Justice League. Exactly, Andrew. Again, his cut doesn't need to be canon. I know that as fans, we all want it very badly. We want that to be canon. We want that to be what moves forward for the next forever. But that was never the intention from Zach either. Remember, his idea was to do this 5-film arc, this little arc for Superman. It was Warner Brothers and DC and Jeff Johns and John Berg who were like, all right, let's expand this. Let's do this movie. Let's do this movie. Let's do this movie. That's where the expansion came from what he was making. So it doesn't need to be. Let Zach finish his arc. If Affleck wants to connect a Batman series to it, awesome. If Joe Manganiello wants to do a Deathstroke series off of it, perfect. If Leto wants to do a Joker series off of it, amazing. Ray Fisher wants a Cyborg series, amazing. That's fine. That's what having a multiverse does, is it allows these filmmakers, these creators to have so much more freedom in telling stories because they can connect to what they want to connect to. They're not stuck on, all right, I can only stick to this storyline. But what if you don't like what they're doing over here, but you like what Snyder did? We'll go over there and just jump on it and get Snyder's blessing and go for it. That's just my opinion. I think that's what's beautiful about this entire thing and what could happen. But I'm going to start winding down, guys. It's been an hour and a half I've been going on here. One of my longer shows in a long time. What is this here? I'm glad for no CGI lip for Cavill. We're all happy for that. We are all happy for that, for sure. But I think now's the time to move forward. Let's stay passionate. Keep our enthusiasm up. Be positive. Stay united. Push forward, because it is very important that we do that. Coming next weekend, guys. This is big because next weekend we are holding a Us United event, streaming on multiple channels. I'll be doing it. Poindexter Lounge, 4 Nerds, Super Hive, so many others. I can't even think of everybody. Lightcast, Spoilerverse, Spoiler Country, the Culture Nerds involved. So many people are involved for this streaming event next weekend. It is a celebration and a thank you to Zack Snyder. If you want to be involved, the very minimum that you can do is send an email to usunitedevent@gmail.com. Send an email to that, a little short 30 to 60 second clip of yourself thanking Zack Snyder for what he has done and celebrating what you love about Zack Snyder's Justice League or Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, but just try and make it 30 to 60 seconds. We're going to show these videos on all the streams throughout the weekend, but it's next weekend, the 27th and 28th, multiple shows, multiple outlets, multiple people will be talking and discussing and celebrating Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder's Justice League. So make sure you tune into that. The schedule will be up in the middle, soon. Hopefully, I'm hoping the beginning of this week. But yes, the schedule will be out very, very soon. At the latest, the middle of this week. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the little notification bell as well. If you want to see more from me, I got a lot of stuff, a lot of content on my channel right now. So check it out. It's a great channel. I think it is, at least. Maybe you guys don't. Make sure you check out. We have our live shows every Thursday now at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's where my co-host Colton and I will be sitting down and discussing everything within the pulp culture world with fan interactions as well. It's kind of getting back to our roots of what we used to do with the podcast years ago. We wanted to get back into that. While my YouTube channel has grown exponentially over the last year, we want to get to our roots and get back to what we loved doing and talking about so much before. So make sure you check out those shows starting next. Oh, it started last week, but we're going to jump back into it next week. This week was a bit of a mess because of everything going on. But make sure HBO Max, Zack Snyder's Justice League, go watch it. Watch it on repeat. Stay enthusiastic about it. Stay passionate. Stay united. It's going to be an amazing time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk at all of you later.